Israel is planning or is in talks to resettle the Palestinians in Gaza in South Sudan. The fact that they are whitewashing the term ethnic cleansing, which it is, as resettling, is very worrisome. But what's even more concerning is they're thinking of relocating Palestinians from one genocidal war-torn country to another country that is also experiencing their own genocide and famine. And they think that that's okay. 6 people familiar with the matter confirmed the talks to the Associated Press. It's unclear how advanced and how far they've gotten, but if implemented, it would amount to transferring people from one, like I said, one war-ravaged country to another and raise human rights concerns, which Israel has no problem defining. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said he wants to realize U.S. President Donald Trump's vision of relocating as much as Gaza's population, though what Netanyahu calls voluntary migration. Israel has floated similar resettlement proposals with other African nations. He said, "I think it's the right thing to do, even according to the laws of war as I know them, is to allow the population to leave, and then you go in with all your might against the enemy who remains there." Netanyahu said Tuesday in an interview with I-24, an Israeli TV station. He did not make reference to South Sudan, but Palestinian rights groups and much of the international community have rejected the proposal. I don't know when enough is going to be enough. I don't know how a genocide, ethnic cleansing, and violating every international law is acceptable, and we are allowing it to happen. But to declare this, and all the press knows that this is his plan, is insane. Insane.
Africans are in shock and deeply disappointed. Sources confirm that Israel's president has been in talks with South Sudan's president, proposing to relocate Palestinians and Gazans to South Sudan both during and after the war. This plan was already rejected by Western and Arab nations, yet South Sudan's leader seems ready to accept it. To many across Africa, this is not just a political move, it is an insult to the dignity of the continent. Africans are asking, why should Africa be treated as a dumping ground for problems created by others? Why should our lands be used as a refuge of convenience when our own people face poverty, conflict, and displacement? The decision has sparked outrage, with many saying the South Sudanese president must be out of his mind to agree to this. This is not just about South Sudan, it is about the image of Africa as a whole. We are not the world's garbage bin. We are a proud continent, and this is a betrayal that will not be forgotten.
Are you guys familiar with that one saying? You don't really know a person until you live with them. Well, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to South Sudan, when it comes to South Sudanese, we've lived with these individuals and we don't want to again. First and foremost, everyone, words out in the streets is that South Sudan will be accepting Palestinian refugee. Let me tell you why this is a bad idea. One, we just got out of a 50+ year genocide by the same people, the Arabs. We just got half of our country taken. We had more than millions raped, killed, violated in the most gruesome ways possible. Now, when it comes to the president, he's not really a leader. He's just a seat holder. All of them are seat holders. They're really just holding that seat for the real true president. Because right now they're playing house. Again, this is the same president that witnessed generation and generation and generation, and he even fought in the same freaking war. You understand? He witnessed all these generations just be annihilated. He witnessed this, and then he went as far as taking Sudan, Umar Bashir, hiding him in our country, and now he's opening up our borders. We're only 14 years young. We're not developed. No country is helping us. The world is not helping us. It wasn't pray for South Sudan, so we have to do it all over again in silence. But now we're being pushed back 10 steps back by allowing the Palestinians to come into our country. We've lived with these Arabs. They don't like us. They don't want us. They don't even want to coexist in our country. They just want the land. These people do not want to coexist. They don't want to kumbaya. They don't want to be Islam and Christian. They don't want none of that. They just want the Shakira law so they can shake their little whatever they be wearing and run around with their little book and Allah Akbar. That's it. So I do not approve of South Sudan accepting Palestinians. Absolutely not. These people do not even like black people, let alone Christians, let alone anything that's not Islam. And on top of that, they have a whole city called the City of Slaves. We have no business bringing in people that are modern day slave owners.
Everyone blames Israel for what's happening in Gaza. But here's a question your protest signs won't answer. Why don't Arab countries, especially Egypt and Jordan, take in Palestinian refugees? They share borders, they claim solidarity, yet they keep their gates shut while waving flags. Let me show you the truth they don't want to talk about. It's the Arab regimes who've turned Palestinian suffering into a political asset. Because let's be clear, solidarity without responsibility is just performance. Take Jordan. Yes, it welcomed Palestinians in 1948 and 1967. But by 1970, the PLO had grown so powerful it tried to overthrow the Jordanian monarchy. What happened next? Black September. Over 3,000 Palestinians were killed by the Jordanian army. The PLO was exiled and Jordan never fully trusted Palestinians again. Since then, Jordan has revoked citizenship for thousands of Palestinians, not because they're disloyal, but because Jordan fears becoming Palestine 2.0. What about Egypt? They ruled Gaza until 1967, but never gave Gazans citizenship or rights. Egypt actually sealed the Rafah crossing after expelling them. And even during the bombings and the worst campaigns, that gate stays shut. Why? What is Egypt's fear? Hamas infiltration, radical spillover, and worst of all, being asked to absorb Gaza permanently. So instead, they let Gaza burn, but from a safe distance. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Arab regimes don't want a solution. They want the issue to stay alive because it's useful. A leaked WikiLeaks Arab League memo literally says, resettlement ends the Palestinian cause. Translation, keep Palestinians stateless, keep the camps running, and keep blaming Israel while doing nothing themselves except funding Hamas. So, to the people chanting slogans worldwide, I get it, you mean well, but ask yourself, why don't Arab leaders with wealth and land and power and proximity lift a finger beyond speeches? Where are the resettlement plans? Where is the open door policy for people they call brothers? Why is Hamas hiding in tunnels while civilians die on rooftops? Why is it always easier to blame Israel, but never the dictators, the clerics, or the militants keeping the suffering in place? This isn't occupation, it is betrayal. Palestinians are not victims of Israeli policy, they are hostages of Arab hypocrisy and Hamas opportunism. You want to support Palestine? Start by telling the whole truth, not the curated, comfortable one. Listen, if you're tired of propaganda and ready for some raw, unfiltered truth, share and follow, because no one's free if your mind is owned by someone else's narrative.
I see my people waking up a little bit. Y'all ready to talk about the Arab slave trade and how it's still going on and how there's over 2 million black enslaved people in the Arab world? And in Sudan, the number is about 600,000 that they keep taking black African slaves. Would y'all like to talk about that yet? Would you like to talk about how the Arabs behave? Can we talk about them like we do white people? Is it time? And then we can move on to the next ones. But can we focus on the Arabs right now? Y'all ready? Or y'all gonna call me xenophobic and tell me that Arab isn't a race? It's an ethnicity. No, it's not. Are you ready to talk about how the Arab slave trade has been going on since the 7th century? Are you ready to talk about the fact that chattel slavery is not a European concept when it comes to black people? They learned it from the Arabs. Are y'all ready to talk about it? Because it is important. It's important because of their treatment to black Americans here, so that you understand the history and you know who your enemies are. That y'all with the Free Pally and Free Libya, and free, y'all are all rooting for your oppressors. We need to talk about it. Are y'all ready? I've been trying to tell y'all. Y'all ready to talk about how you're wasting your time defending your oppressors? Y'all ready? Let me know.
If you're black, can you stay for a second? So I want to share an experience with you, help you understand how black people get treated in another country that, you know, blacks deem so terrible. Like openly racist. Like America here, people are racist, but not openly. So I lived in the Middle East in Jordan, Amman. Mind you, I'm Muslim. I speak Arabic. I am just a brown girl. I'm from Sudan. Where I'm from, people speak Arabic. When I lived in the Middle East, I will tell you guys, I experienced everything involving racism. It was from Middle Easterns. Even if you were from the Middle East yourself, if you were darker complexion, you're automatically deemed as just peasant. You are looked down on. I am telling you this. And these people will never take accountability, especially now that they live in the U.S. All corner stores and all these things, majority of them are, you know, Arab men. Black people love them. They praise them for, you know, being the person in the corner. But y'all don't understand, if you are in their country, the way you will be treated, you are going to hate it.
All right, y'all said y'all was ready to talk about the Arabs. Let's talk about this comment. Go look up Afro-Palestinians and how they're treated by the Israelis and the Palestinians. Let me give you a preview. They treat them like shit. They call them abids. They have them in a quarter in Gaza that's called Quarter of the Slaves, where the Afro-Palestinians are, and where they are at a socioeconomic disadvantage. They also endure racism from both the Israelis and the Palestinians. They treat them like shit. So while they're over there saying, we stand with Black Lives Matter, we stand with black people in America, they treating the black people in Palestine like shit. They have no rights, no protection. They're called abids, which means... But you don't see the blown up bodies of black children, do you? Because they wouldn't pull at the heartstrings. But y'all are sitting there crying for your oppressors. Let's talk about it. What did the Palestinians do to black people? Everything. Every horrible thing that you can imagine. The last recorded slave ship of black people in Palestine was in the 19th century. In 1905, 8 black people were registered as slaves in Palestine. Mind you, that was registered. And they don't even know the exact amount of black people in Palestine. It's like they said from 3,000 to 10,000. They don't even know because they don't even care. They were brought there as slaves. Some of them immigrated, but most of them were brought over as slaves. We gonna dig deeper. What did they do? I'll tell you. 10 out of fucking 10.
Abid neighborhood in Gaza is home to 1% of the Gazan population who are referred to as Afro-Palestinians. Abid in Arabic means slave, and the majority of these people who resided in this neighborhood, their families were actually enslaved to the lighter-skinned Arabs throughout the generations. These people are looked down upon by the other local Gazan citizens, and they're considered second class. They're still being oppressed. They're still experiencing racism.
وما زلت لهذه اللحظة بتعرض للعنصرية لأسباب أنا بصراحة مش عارفة إيش هي.
كان زمان بس الحين لا.
نضحك على حالنا ونقول إنه العنصرية مش موجودة عندنا في المجتمع الفلسطيني.
And why am I mentioning this? Because somehow there's a strange conception worldwide that people of African descent are expected to automatically support the atrocities of Hamas, claiming that these are the results of their oppression, their racism they've experienced throughout the years. But when in actuality, they're actually acting in the same way towards people of African descent in Gaza and also in the West Bank. I have no problem with speaking in regards to the necessity to find a just solution for us all to be able to exist together, but I'm not going to allow anybody to use the hurt, the pain, the oppression, the racism that we, people of African descent, have experienced worldwide to justify heinous activities against innocent civilians.
فتاة ذات بشرة سوداء عايشة في قطاع غزة. أنا تعرضت للعنصرية من وأنا طفلة صغيرة وما زلت لهذه اللحظة بتعرض للعنصرية لأسباب أنا بصراحة مش عارفة إيش هي.
كانت زمان بس الحين لا. مش موجود إطلاقا. الأسمر والأبيض واحد.
ما نضحك على حالنا ونقول إنه العنصرية مش موجودة عندنا في المجتمع الفلسطيني. هي موجودة ولكن بنسبة أقل مما كانت عليه قبل 25 سنة أو 50 سنة.
في فترة الطفولة إلا ما تلاقي فيه أطفال يعني يأذيك بكلمة نوعا ما، كوشي أسمر، وين يا شوكولاتة، وين يا إشي زي هيك.
إذا كان في بينه وبينك مزح احكي بدك إياه، بس مزح بأدب وبحدود.
لما تيجي أسمر بأسلوب الذم بيختلف عن أسمر بأسلوب المدح، لأنه الأغاني كلياتها اللي بتغنوا فيها بالجمال للون البشرة السمراء. يعني
في حد كان يقول لي ما تلمسيني علشان ما أتشحبر، يعني ما يصير أسمر زيي.
كانت المدرسة مملوءة بالسمر وبالبيض، عمرنا ما حسينا إنه في فرق بين أسمر وبين أبيض، دائما مع بعض كأهل كأصدقاء كأصحاب.
وأنا ماشية في الشارع نظرات الناس لإني، نظرات الأطفال، نظرات الناس الكبيرة حتى في السن، يعني بيعتبروني صراحة إن أنا كائن فضائي، بيعطوني نظرات إنه إحنا أفضل منك، إنه أنت أقل منا.
عمر ما واحد أهاني في قصة إنه أنا أسود هو، لا في مدرسة ولا في نادي ولا في عبادة،
حتى في الطريق، في الشارع، في كل حاجة، في السواق ما في.
كلياتنا يعني ربنا خلق هذا أسمر، خلق هذا أبيض. الشيء الأساسي اللي الإنسان يحكم عليه اللي هو تعامل الإنسان، جوهر الإنسان من جوا، أخلاق الإنسان، نجاحات الإنسان اللي وصل لها.
أنا أخواني مهندسين، واحد مهندس ميكانيكي والثاني مهندس كمبيوتر، وبيشتغلوا عادي، وأنا اشتغلت هنا في دير البلح، كنا أنا وياهم حبايب مع بعض، أسمر وأبيض.
قدمت لشركة وكانت السكورز تبعتي هي الأعلى، لكن تفاجأت إنهم هم استغنوا عني، وحكى لي مدير العلاقات العامة قال لي أنت جدعة وطموحة وقد حالك، لكن أنا ما بخاطر إنه أوظف يعني إنسانة ذات بشرة سوداء للشركة، لأنه إحنا بهمنا الواجهة الإعلامية، وهذه كانت صدمة في حياتي، يعني صدمة جدا.
الإنسان لما ينجرح بالذات في الصغر يعني من موقف معين إلا ما يضل ملازمه لحد ما يكبر.
ضليتني منعزلة في البيت، ما بعمل إشي، ما بسوي، ما بطلع مع أصدقائي، حتى المراية ما كنت أطلع فيها، لكن بالنهاية الحمد لله طلعت من هذا الاكتئاب واستمريت وعملت إنجازات ووصلت للي أنا بدي إياه. يعني لما مثلا واحد طفل اسود تعرض لتنمر بقول له ابوه تجاهل، ليش؟ بامكانك انت ترد عليه، بامكانك انه انت تعطيه رد انه انا رافض، ان انت عنصري.
نزرع في الاجيال اللي جايه انه لا، التنوع والاختلاف هذا شيء حلو كتير. يعني جميل واسمر.
اجى دوري ارد على الناس اللي بتحكي لي ولا يا مريم انت بتقارن العنصريه اللي بتصير بامريكا بالعنصريه اللي بتصير عندنا بالدول العربيه، مش لهالدرجه، على القليل احنا ما بنقتل. وبعدين اي كلمه بتطلع منا بتطلع عفويه وبتطلع بدون قصد وعن عشم. بس انت بتعرف انه هذا العشم حطم نفسيه اللي قبالك وعدمت الثقه فيه؟ لا بتعرفش ولا هو بيعرف، لانه احنا متعودين على هذا الحكي. بس قبل ما احنا نتعود زياده عن اللزوم على هذا الحكي، خلينا نوعى شوي وندير بالنا على الجيل الجديد، لانه الجيل الجديد هو الاهم. راح احكي لكم مواقف حقيقيه اللي صارت واحنا مش قاصدين. الفلانه اللي كانت تحكي لبنتها روحي وخلص تلعبي بالشمس، بلاش تنحركي وتصيري زي مريم. فلان لما ابنه صغير ساله بابا ليش هدول الناس هيك لونهم، بكل بساطه جاوبوا اهاليهم نسيوهم بالفرن بابا. لا كلكم وهدول الناس اللي كانوا قاعدين بالمسبح ويتناقشوا اذا لون السمر بنحل بالكلور ولا لا، هدول لا. ولا فلان اللي بيسالوها كيف خطيبه ابنك الجديده، تحكي لهم بيضه مش مخلي بياض بتجنن، بدنا نحسن النسل. شو خيتا؟ وانتي اللي بتسلخ لك نكتة لصاحبك الاسمر لما يكون لابس بلوزه حمراء وتحكي له طالع زي الفحمه المولعه. انطرحت انا من النكته. في هاي الفئه بتحاول والله، يعني لما ابنها يتقاتل مع ابن الجيران الاسمر ويبلش له شوكولاته يا سوداء شوكولاته، امه هنا بتعصب بتقول له اسكت حرام ولا بدك الله يعملك زيه. ليش ماله؟
The African community here, for instance, what is the relationship with overall the Arab community in the neighborhood?
It's we do have a good relationship with all the people inside Jerusalem or let's say, all Palestine. And now we married a white woman, and they came and they married.
Oh, you guys are
black girls.
intermarriage in between the
Exactly.
Okay, all right.
So we are mixed now.
Okay. But in the eyes of authority, like Israeli authority, do they make any difference between you, the African community, and Palestinian community here? Yeah.
They deal with us as a
Exactly.
as a Palestinian and as Arab. An
The
Arab.
same way.
Yeah, the same way.
Okay.
But the different, you feel it inside Israel itself.
Okay.
So if you go to Israel, there is a lot of Ethiopians inside Israel.
That's right. Yeah, I've seen a lot of them. Yeah.
So they face a hard time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They like African Ethiopian Jews.
Yeah.
Yeah, they face a lot of.
Yeah, they face a lot of problem, and it was a lot of demonstration everywhere in Israel against the way how they act with them.
Okay. Oh, wow.
And they killed several times many persons from them as well.
From them, okay.
And it's similar to the way what is going on the States.
Yeah,
so
yeah. Like the police
policeman,
brutality.
It was the same for the last time. It was the same thing, the
Okay.
same scenario.
Okay.
But and they are they are not ready to let them to reach higher level.
Okay.
So either cleaner in the hospital,
okay.
or a security,
Okay.
or soldiers.
Okay. Wow. Oh yeah. Mostly I've seen a lot of soldiers. That's
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
And or security.
Okay. My next question is, what is since Ethiopian Jews, the African community too, what is the Black African Palestinians relationship to the African Jewish Ethiopian relationship? Do you guys have any kind of connection or any kind of relationship at all?
With some persons.
Yeah,
not
individual.
all. Yeah.
But not as a group.
No, not as a group, but we meet a lot of Ethiopians here in the streets. So it's for us. Maybe he can't understand that, but if I pass by and I see black person, I should say hi.
I do that all the time.
Exactly.
That's how I met Ayman. Yeah, that's why I met Ayman.
So
and him too, and Adam too.
So everywhere.
Yeah.
So most of the time they stopped and they shake hands and. We do have a good relationship with them.
Okay.
But we do have more relationship with Jewish, but they are from Dimona. They mix between the Jew and the Christian.
Oh, that's another religion.
ايش هذول اثيوبيا اللي تعاون ديمونا؟ Hebronites.
Oh, Hebronites.
Okay. So they are Africans as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So they mix Christianity and Judaism together.
Yeah.
They call it Hebronites.
So you have to visit them also.
Where are they?
They are in Dimona.
That's another city.
Near the Beersheba.
Oh,
After Beersheba.
The majority of Arabs or Muslims that dislike black people have either been wronged by them or like some way wronged, or have heard stories of multiple people being wronged or like taken advantage of or murdered or something by that race. So they hold a grudge against that race particularly, but not all.
So what we are not going to do is downplay the anti-blackness and the discrimination that exists in the Arab communities towards black people. What we are not going to do is downplay the racism that exists in the Arab communities towards black people. What we are not going to do is downplay the atrocities that the Arab communities continue to commit towards black people to this day. Arabs still treat black people as slaves. They think black people are less of human beings. I mean, look at Morocco. Look at the Gulf. The amount of Kenyan women who've gone to the Gulf to look for jobs, and these women are literally burnt for entertainment. They're burnt for entertainment. These women come back home in wheelchairs if they survive at all. But you're going to come here and talk about 9/11? being a perfect example. So by your analogy, all Muslims should be treated some type of way because of 9/11. But if I told you to mention one thing that black people ever did to Arabs, any point in history where black people were so powerful and they did something to Arabs to warrant this kind of retaliation or justifies this kind of treatment, you're not going to tell me anything because there's no point in history. So again, what we are not going to do is make excuses for a people who are committing atrocities to another different race or type of people. Because they often do these things and they often go unchecked and nobody wants to talk about it, and people continue to suffer under the Arab community. Black people are suffering and we have to call it as it is. We are not going to make excuses for that. No justification whatsoever. People are suffering. So stop making excuses.